Hi everyone, welcome back to the Builders Bench podcast, brought to you by Seabuilt and our great sponsors, Earthlift Excavations. There you go, as you can see up on the screen, and we've got some merchandise too. We have Danny today from Dawson D. He's going to fire some questions to me for a solo episode today. We constantly stay in touch, and we're always talking about what's happening, and Danny just finds things that I talk about is quite interesting because he doesn't really know the side of building, and so we're gonna brief on that today, mate.
Yeah, mate, very excited. Look, we're normally on the other side of the cameras. Well, Dost is today, and he's sat in the hot seat, so it's my turn. But yeah, it's great. We obviously produce your show, and we're very excited now to do a bit more of an episode focused on you and the building industry in particular. And like you said, I'm obviously not in the industry, so we'll try and break it down so people like myself can understand it a little bit more.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, look, as Danny said, he produces the Seabuilt podcast. He's been supporting the Seabuilt podcast and encouraging me to get more guests and be more informative in terms of what's going on. So I appreciate that, boys. You got my back, and I'm absolutely enjoying this so much.
No, my pleasure, mate. Well, maybe at the end we might talk a little bit about our Anglesey trip, but we'll get into that a little bit later on. But before we do,
the part that I flogged the F-150 along the Great Ocean Road.
F-150, we go.
F-150.
Yeah, we gave that a real red hot crack. We'll talk about that later. But
redlined it.
That's it. Now a lot has changed, obviously, since we last did the podcast, because I think the last time we recorded was late last year. So we're going to bring everybody up to speed. But before we do, there's a little giveaway at the end of this episode, isn't there? So should we let's tease it? But something on the set is given away, and how will they win? We just have to wait till the end of the episode to find out.
100%. No, it's exciting stuff. So it could be something for the kids, or
something for yourself,
something for the adults.
That's right. I wouldn't mind it myself. So
the viewers might be looking at it right now.
They might be. We'll find out.
So Danny, we're not giving away Danny today.
No, not me. I know. No.
He's not for sale.
Yeah, no. Anyway, mate, well, let's get into it. So a lot has changed in the last, probably 10 months now. So bring us up to speed with what's actually changed in the building industry.
Mate, a lot's been going on. Where do I start? Federal election.
Yes.
So it's July 2025. Federal election's been done. I've just been bombarded with emails from the Building and Plumbing Commission, which was the former Victorian Building Authority. So that's changed hands. They've done a full restructure. I think there's been some, not that I think, I know there were some bad decisions made with the VBA.
Yep.
In the past, and I think they would give, quite frankly, to keep it short, they handed out builder's license to to some people that underqualified, and it really shouldn't be builders. So what's happened in the past is it's a funny one. The VBA is now cracked down on all those builders and have been charging those builders because they're not qualified. But I think there were some things going on in the VBA, hence why they've done a full restructure.
Yes.
And then now they're called the Building and Plumbing Commission.
Right.
So disappointing that all of that happened, because it just put a bad reputation and a bad name to other builders. Now, since then, I've seen posts on social media that people would say builders are the scum of the earth, right? And that's the type of stuff that people are sort of thinking about builders at the moment. Now, whether that's changed or not recently, look, we probably are noticing some slow changes, because as we've been talking about, like it's sort of weeded out the ordinary builders, and the good builders like us are still operating. The ones who pay, the ones who do the right thing, the ones who know how to build are still going today.
So let's not beat around the bush. So it's tough at the moment, isn't it?
It's tough.
So why is it tougher now than it was, 10 years ago?
Well, I think because build prices have gone up so much. I mean, I've talked about this like on the first few episodes. That was in amongst all of the... It's flatlined out at the moment. So, but definitely since, all the inflation was happening, build prices went up. Now, the problem is the banks tightened up because there was 13 interest rate rises.
Yep.
So if you can't service that loan, so if your loan capacity is a certain amount, but bill prices have gone up, there's just been no give in between, from the banks going, yeah, okay, I'm happy to lend out that extra $50,000 to $100,000. So, and I think it's one of the things too, building a custom home isn't cheap. It's not driving past a billboard on the ring road and seeing you can have this house and land package for $400,000.
Yes.
It's not that. It's not a simple house on a flat block. It is a full custom home. So you might be building on slopes of 6 meters, or 8 meters. So it needs to be customised. You need a custom builder. You need an architect and things like that. Sure, building custom homes has gone up, but everything's gone up. But there's still clients out there that are real keen and just want a custom home set apart from the others, and are happy to pay.
Yes.
It's very hard to find those clients at the moment.
So let's put it in perspective to the audiences, especially when you talk about custom homes. So we were on the phone and you were doing a job in Anglesey, and you were working on balconies. Now, these balconies, from what you told me, were built maybe in their 70s or 80s,
70s,
maybe
80s,
maybe even longer. But people don't quite realise, okay, it's expensive to redo it, but if you don't redo it, what the ramifications down the line is.
Big
So
time.
spending some money now, especially with those old builds, could save a fortune down the line. Can you
Absolutely.
explain what that job was and how it works?
Well, what happened was recently a balcony collapsed down in Anglesey. Now, I'm not just specifically saying Anglesey and it only happens in Anglesey. It happens a lot everywhere. So I think 6 people were on this balcony and it collapsed and, people were injured, including a dog. So I think it got people thinking, wow, I better look at my own balcony.
Yep.
Basically, back in the 80s, you could just buy, there was like kit homes going around, and they were just like, they'd come, I don't know how they, these days they'd come in a container and then you could pop them together. So these kit homes, some of the structural components on these kit homes nowadays just don't comply. So there's like a 150 by 150 round radius treated pine post there's no stress grading to that. I could look it up into the timber framing manual and there'd be no stress grade to that actual post. So it doesn't comply. We actually went out to a couple of places. In one particular was 4.8 metres off the ground with 3 of those posts, and we just couldn't believe that it was still standing. We pulled the posts out and it was sitting on sand.
Wow.
And a block of timber. So it was 4.8 metres high. So could you imagine if there was 10 or 15, call it, they have a bit of a party, 20 people up on this balcony, that thing could definitely come down and kill someone. There's no doubt. So we went there, we propped it up. The joists and everything were okay, but we propped it up and we put in 200 by 200 cypress pine posts and did the lot, concreted it all, and did the assessment and assessed the balcony, make sure it was structurally okay, and happy days. It's basically brand new. And for a quarter of the cost.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, I think a lot of people, or how many people should look at their own home and consider or even getting somebody like you in to just come and have a look for things like that,
Mate.
Especially in the Surf Coast area.
Oh, especially in the Surf Coast area, because they especially the elements down there. You anywhere near the sea, you get the sea air and whatever comes with it. Basically, it's a lot more deterioration on the house than in the standard suburbs. Mm-hmm. So, and how many people have balconies? overlooking the water and, want to get
Pretty
that.
much everyone.
Pretty much everyone.
Yeah.
I could go around and go, that needs work, that needs work, that needs work. So I think it's crucial because also there's a liability. That's the thing. And liability these days is becoming, it's becoming a huge part of everyday's life, like public liability, whatever it is. You could be liable for anything. And could you imagine if an accident did happen and they were family or friends or something like that at your own house?
Yeah.
So it could be devastating and life-changing. So, yeah, it's crucial. Absolutely crucial.
Yeah.
And for us, it's fun, right?
Yeah.
It's a fun type of sort of construction. And, you could build houses. You could do all those things. You could build them with my eyes closed. But something like that, even though it's only like a week job, it's an interesting job and it gets your brain moving.
100%.
Yeah.
So going back to, we touched on politics earlier on in the podcast. Typically, with the change of government, what does that do for the industry? I mean, the government hasn't changed here, but if it does, what does that do? Does it make things easier, harder?
Oh, look, I think a new state government needs to come in.
Yeah.
Everyone wants change. The big build has put pressure on labour. We can't access labour as much. Prices, the labour component in terms of prices have gone up since the big build because the residential industry is trying to compete with the commercial industry. So commercial industry might have a few more benefits and perks, but residential, you don't have to go into the city. You don't have to clock in, clock out. It's pretty casual, yeah?
Yeah.
But it definitely has forced labour prices up. So then, therefore, it goes that at the end of the day has ramifications on build prices and labour. So labour and supply has gone up. So that's why everything is. So it's strange. I'm not saying that like a new change of government will change that dramatically. It can't. We're stuck. Yeah, we're stuck. Whatever we have right now and the debt that the state has right now, we're stuck with that for a very, very long time.
Because what surprised me when we were chatting the other day is we're talking about what a tough time it is for the industry, but it really should be a booming time. When you look at the amount of build that needs to happen, the housing crisis that we're going through, the amount of people that are continually coming in with nowhere to live.
Yep.
On paper, it should be a golden age for building. So why is it not?
Absolutely. Well, because
we've got space.
We got. Wow. There's so much red tape. The red tape that's around, the red tape that's been around the last, say, 10 years or so, has had a huge ripple effect on developing and stuff like that. So councils had a lot of say in streetscape and in terms of, blending into the actual surrounding areas. They had almost too much say. So the recent NCC changes with the liveable housing standards have changed that slightly. I'm not going to say that, we're all set, ready to go. It's taken a little bit of the control out of the council as long as we meet the guidelines of the liveable housing standards. So planning has changed slightly, but in terms of how it's going to, we should be building houses. Every single builder in this industry should be flat out building homes. But the problem is there's so many fees that developers now need to pay, taxes, windfall taxes, everything. That now just goes onto the consumer.
Yeah.
So that's what's driven up land prices. So it's affordability. It's people are struggling to put food on the table. Some, not all. But it is tough out there. And let alone building a home too. So
that's before we talk land tax and all that.
That's it. Yeah. That's the taxes and the red tape and all of this stuff within most likely.
So do you think
most of the government, it just creates more cost?
Yeah. Do you think they'll ease or will it just get worse with red tape? And I mean, it feels like we're always jumping through hoops in all areas of life, things, especially being in business.
I think, who knows? You don't know. You need, I definitely think like a change of government might be able to put, a bit of change into it. As I said, the new NCC that's creating some changes. I think the government realises they're in deep shit and they need homes. And I think with as I said, the restructuring of the Building Plumbing Commission, I think that'll boost a few things. Insurances is tough to get.
Yep.
Warranty insurance and building insurance is really difficult to get now. So that sets the good builders apart from the shit builders.
Yep.
So that'll help the good builders to keep going, but it is tough to maintain and obtain that. So we need work. We need the gears need to keep turning.
And what's the flow and effect then for the other trades?
Well, I mean, I haven't had a resume from an apprentice for 5-6 years.
Oh,
So what does that say?
Yeah.
Are the schools encouraging kids that probably aren't suited for uni getting into the trade? No, probably not. I don't know. Is the system broken from, high school, right? You go to year 12 and they're encouraging you to complete your VCE. I get that. That's really good. But what's on the other end of that? What happens if they don't get the scores that they wanted to go on and pursue that career that they had in mind? What's the... There's nothing, So, 10 years ago or longer, or 10, 15 years ago, we used to get bombarded with resumes from apprentices, and that's when things were shaping up. So now I haven't seen one for years. I mean, we've only got one apprentice, and that's it. And so, love to get more on, but you also need things on the back end too. You obviously want to make sure you've got enough work for that apprentice.
Sure.
And they're going to keep busy. So, But as for the trades, well, I think all the old school trades, they're retiring. So who's going to replace them?
Yeah.
That's
right.
It's difficult because we're in such a labour shortage. All the old school guys are out of the industry or making their way out of the industry. There's no one new coming back in.
All right, so we've talked a lot of probably more on the negative side. So let's go glass half full. What are the exciting things on the horizon at the moment? What should we be celebrating in the industry?
Well, I think the good builders are still around,
Shining through, yeah.
Are shining through. I think there's with the NCC changes, I think you need to be pretty. You have your wits about you to be able to navigate through that, and I think that'll set apart the others, like I said. I also think the just innovation and stuff these days, I think that's pretty interesting. I'm hoping to say that the investors are going to come back, and those things will eventually come back. I hope so. At the end of the day, building's a great game.
Yeah,
it's awesome. Like when you're producing something, you're not leaving it to AI or anything to rely on.
Yes.
Because I tell you what, AI is going to do a lot of work. All those bureaucrats, looking at the town planning and looking at all the fine lines and all that red tape, that's all going to be taken over by AI. You wait, and so, but to actually hold a nail gun and actually put up a frame, well, you can't. Well, what robots do that? Nothing, Maybe in 50 years' time.
So do you see the floodgates opening though positively? For example, like if obviously you've got kids, would you encourage your kids to pursue a bit, like say they're interested and they want to do what their old man does? Would you say that's a good idea or a bad idea?
At this stage, tough. At this stage, very, very tough. I'd love to say it, but yeah, it is a tough one. But you got to follow your passion too, and that's what I did. But are people, like I said before, are people implanting that into their heads. Like, if there's a passion there for building, and it can all start from like even just furniture making.
Yeah.
If there's a passion there, then you got to follow it. But are they encouraging it, and are they encouraging it in the young guys? I don't know. I don't know what it is. We've said this on the past episodes. It's a great industry to get into. When you sit back and you go, I just built that home. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What other jobs can you really sit back and go, I built that? From start to finish.
No, I agree.
Not many.
So as we start to wind down from this episode, we've obviously covered a lot of heavy points. So we will finish on a light note. We're going to do the competition very, very shortly. But before we do, we touched on it at the start of the episode. So we had the opportunity to take the F-150 away for the weekend through one of our connections with Ford. Yep. And you obviously graciously gave us the holiday house keys and said, "Oh, boys, I'll meet you up there." And we had a great night. We took the car up. Clint absolutely floored the thing. Toured us around Anglesey, and then we had a nice dinner at the pub, had a couple of drinks, and we sat by the fire, which was lovely. But mate, you were telling us that night, like a lot of that stuff you've built too over the years. Yeah, absolutely. In Anglesey, there's a lot of history down there, and it's in the family. So, mate, what a great night it was. It was perfect for your post on Instagram. Little getaway, yeah.
Yeah, and the sun was setting on the Great Ocean Road. We were in Fairhaven. We took off in that F-150, and you can hear the power of the V8, mate. It was it was a great night. Went to the Aries pub for a feed. So it's awesome.
And Clint was saying as we're driving through the streets, I built that home and I built that home and I've done that there, and it was very good. Mate, let's talk a bit about this competition giveaway. Unfortunately, we're not giving away an F-150 if anyone's getting too excited, but we are giving away. What do I see over here? What's this?
Well, that's courtesy of Earthlift Excavations. They gave us a 1 in 50. I would say that's a 20 tonner or a 22 tonner cat excavator. So I didn't show my kids this because they would have been, devastated that I was giving this away. But we want to give this away to a viewer that can like and comment on particularly this post.
Okay.
And who can share it too.
Well, let's do a couple of little requirements to be able to win this thing. So let's say, firstly, they have to be following Seabuilt, number one. 2, they have to be subscribed to the Seabuilt podcast on YouTube.
Yep.
Give the YouTube video a like.
Yep.
And where do you want to comment? On this post, they've got to comment... winner. Comment
winner.
The word winner.
Winner, there you go.
To go into the draw, and then we're going to draw at the end of the week a winner that will win the replica here, which is beautiful to look at.
How good is that? I mean, I'm pretty sure I didn't do too much to it. I didn't want to break it, but I'm pretty sure all the gears work.
Oh, it does.
So,
and
they've got the bucket attachments here. So that's awesome.
And we have to say a big thank you to Earthlift as well for making it all possible. So we appreciate your help and support of this podcast too. Mate, thank you so much. It's been great to chat. I think we should probably try and do this every few months, just give a bit of an update and hear more from you, because obviously you're normally the interviewer. But mate, thank you so much. Anything you want to say to the viewers before we let them go? Just like, subscribe, share the podcast. I'm doing this for a few good reasons. I'm doing this for I want to be a bit of an advocate for the industry. Whether it continues to be like that, I'm not too sure. But I enjoy doing it. It's a bit of a hobby. And, you're working with some great guys like that, like yourself and Wade. So appreciate it, mate.
Loving it.
And say big thank you to Slices as well, won't we?
Slices, thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.